Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an eyeshadow do's and don'ts. In the last makeup do's and don'ts video that I did a makeup do's and don'ts of the entire face, but then I got a lot of questions and requests from people telling me to focus on the eyes next time around, because a lot of you wanted me to explain how I would go about choosing colors, what colors I would choose for transition, stuff like that. So in this video, I'm going to break it down. I'm basically going to share the things that I would do and not do to ensure that I have flawless results, okay? Makeup is subjective and it is art, I know, but then there are principles that I know that like they apply when it comes to these things, just so that you just achieve the results that you want. And there are really no right or wrong ways to pick colors. That's one thing I just want to put out there, because you guys can see from my Ankara inspired series that sometimes I would use colors that you would never even dream would go together. However, if the color placement is right, if the blending is right, if you use the right things that you're supposed to use, you can actually make any type of color work for you. Any kind of color combination, you can make it work for you. So I'm just going to move in and get started. So I already filled in my brows and I defined them just to speed things up. If you want to see like a detailed eyebrow routine video, I'm going to have it linked somewhere in the description box. And also you can also check my get ready with me's, because literally all my get ready with me's, I always fill my brows in before I start. So I already did my brows. So the first thing that I'm going to move on to, something that I recommend that everybody do, is prime. And to prime, I like to use my MAC 24-hour extend eye base. It looks like this. This is going to prevent my eyeshadow from creasing and it is going to help it last all day, okay? If you have oily skin like me, this is something that I'll recommend that you not skip. It's really, really important. If you have oily skin or combination to oily skin, we produce oil everywhere, even on our eyelid. So this is important and it's going to prevent your eyeshadow from creasing. What you don't want to do is not prime your eyes. I know that some people don't like eyeshadow primers, and this is good. You know, honestly, you don't have to prime with an eyeshadow primer. You can prime with a concealer. Some people prefer to prime with concealers. As long as the concealer is matte and it controls oil, you should be able to like get long wear. This eyeshadow primer that I use is really good. It dries matte. However, if you're in a hurry and you want the primer to set a lot faster, just use a translucent powder over it. It's going to help it set quickly. And if you use a concealer as well, I would highly recommend that you set your concealer with powder before moving on to the next step. It is going to help you a lot. So the eyeshadow palette that I'm going to be using for this video is the ColourPop High Maintenance palette, and it looks like this. This palette has all the 4 colors that I feel like you would need to create an eye look without reaching outside of this palette. So it has like a color that you use on your lid, one for the brow bone or tear duct, and 2 matte colors here. This is the one that you want to use as a transition color. This is lighter than this one, and this is going to help you blend out the edges of this one, because this is what you're going to use on your crease, if this all makes any sense. So with crease colors and transition colors, most of the times, ideally they should be in the same family, but then they don't have to be. But whatever you use on your transition area has to be lighter than whatever you use on your crease. I'm going to show you guys examples with other eyeshadow palettes before I move on. So I'm going to start out with a really, really colorful palette, and this is my Morphe 35C palette. So for example, let's say you want to use this color on your crease, you would want to use this as a transition shade for this, because this color is going to help you blend the edges of this one out, make it appear a lot softer. The same thing with these two. This is going to help you blend out the edges of this one. The same thing with these two. This is going to help you blend out the edges of this one. But then again, they don't necessarily have to be in the same family for the colors to work. Just make sure that the transition shade is lighter than whatever you're using on your crease. For example, you can use this orange as a transition shade if you're going to be using the green as a crease color. My last example would be the Huda Beauty palette, and you would want to use this as a transition color if you're going to be using this as a crease color. So going in with my MAC 224 blending brush, this is a fluffy blending brush, and ideally this is the type of brush you want to use to apply your transition shade, because these kind of brushes, they distribute colors so well and they don't pick up a lot at once, so they just help you create a nice soft bridge between this area and this area, because this is ideally what you want for transition. You want a color right in here that will help you blend out the edge of whatever you have on your brow bone area and whatever you have in your crease. So this area is not my crease, so that anyone isn't confused. My crease is like the socket, just this area here. So this color is going just above my crease. What you don't want to do is to go in with a pointed crease brush like this, like a densely packed brush, and go straight into this color here and begin to apply it in this eye that you did not prime, by the way. You guys can see that because this place was not primed, it is very, very oily. This area is oily. You guys can see that the color isn't really like applying the same way that it did here. Two is that brushes like this, they pick up a lot of color at once. So what you get basically is the brush just dumps the color wherever it finds itself. So after I've applied my transition color, the next thing that I like to do is to move on to the eyelids. I like to apply my lid color first before I go back into the crease. And then before I apply my lid color, I like to use a base, okay? And a base is basically something that would help your lid color appear more vibrant, because most of the times the shimmer colors that we like to use on the lid, or even the matte colors, they can swatch really well, but then they don't apply the same way when you're using a brush. And I would highly recommend the NYX Jumbo pencils. These are really easy to come by here in Nigeria. If you cannot get your hands on the NYX Jumbo pencil, then I'll recommend that you maybe use a cream eyeshadow, something that is sticky. That's all you need, something that is going to give the lid color something to adhere to, if that makes any sense. When it comes to the jumbo pencils, I have 3 shades that I always go for. So when I'm using a dark color on my eyelid, I like to use dark brown as a base. Whenever I'm using a very bright color on my eyelid, I like to go in with the NYX Jumbo pencil in milk. And then for normal everyday eyeshadows, I like to go in with French fries. And French fries is like a nice golden brown jumbo pencil. And this is very similar to my skin tone. So the reason why I like it is that it can just sit underneath almost like any color of eyeshadow. So I'm going to go in with a flat shading brush. This is my MAC 239. They're very good when it comes to picking up colors that you want on your lid. So what you need to do is to just basically press the color into your eyelid, because the base is there and the base is just helping it so much. What you don't want to do is to go in with a brush that is fluffy. You guys can see that this is not firm. It's moving around a lot. And then you dip this into the same color that you used on your eyelid, or that I have used on my eyelid. And then you guys should see how this color is going to look now applying it. You guys can see the huge difference between this and this. This is a lot more vibrant. It looks really beautiful. So the color is there, but then again, you cannot compare the finish and just what you have here to what you have here. So moving on to the crease, I like to use a tapered crease brush, a pointy crease brush. And I'm going to use this to pack the darkest shade in this palette into my outer corner. Like I said earlier, this type of brush is really good for packing colors on, but then they're not really the best when it comes to blending. So the next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to go in with a blending brush, but this time around a shorter blending brush, and this is the MAC 217. And I'm going to use this to blend this color that I just applied in this area out. So the next thing that I like to do is I'm going to go in with this shade here, and I'm going to use this to open my eyes up a little bit. So I'm going to apply this in my tear duct area. What you don't want to do is to take a flat synthetic brush or a densely packed brush and then dip it into a color that has a lot of shimmer like this one, because this isn't a matte color, and then apply this on your brow bone area. Even if you're going to use a color like this to set your brow bone area, which you guys are going to see me do on this eye in a minute, you don't want to use a brush like this because this picks up a lot. You don't want to apply this much in this area. To set my brow bone area on this eye, I'm going to use an animal head brush. It's really, really important that you use an animal head brush because this will not pick up a lot of product. So what I normally do is I just dip it once into this color and then I place it gently in this area. To finish up with this area here, what I like to do is that I like to go in with whatever color that I have used as a transition color with the same brush that I used to apply it earlier, and then I go back into that area again and I blend out any harsh lines. So you guys can see how soft everything is on this eye, and it's because of the transition color and some of the things that I did. These steps that I've just done, they help a lot. This next step is optional, but what I like to do is that I like to go in with a black liner pencil and I like to use this to line my waterline. And you guys can see that I'm applying this color right into my waterline. I am not smudging it on my lower lash line. You can do that if you want, but then again, this is how I like to do mine. What you don't want to do when lining this area is to apply too much on your lower lash line. Depending on the type of look you're going for, you might need to apply liner on your lower lash line. However, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to take it all the way down to this area and then not even apply it well. You know, this is not, I don't think that no matter what you're going for, I don't really think you want it to look like this. Lining your eyes is completely optional, but I'm going to be doing it in this video. So I like to take a liquid liner. This is Sigma's Line Lace Eyeliner. And I like to go in with a brush for precision, because if you feel that the applicator that an eyeliner comes with, if you feel that it is too flimsy, you can always just go in with a liner brush just so that it gives you steady application. So what I like to do first is that I like to create a line here. Okay, and then I just take it inwards with the same brush. Okay, so you guys saw that when I was applying the liner on this eye, I kind of tilted my head backwards just to help me figure out where to place the liner like properly. What you don't want is to not look or angle your head up like this and then just go in like this. The thing about going in like this is that your lashes, they kind of block you and they get in the way, and it just makes for messy application. So your head isn't angled and then your lashes just keep messing things up for you. You don't want that. So after lining, I like to go in with mascara. I'll be using my Clinique high length mascara for this video, and I'm going to angle my head backwards again. So this is going to help me figure out where exactly my lashes are, and it's going to help me comb them upwards. The same thing applies this time around. You don't want to not look up and then you're doing this, okay? You're doing this, but then again, this doesn't allow you to get to the roots and then pull up. You're just like applying the mascara on whatever you can see here. So don't do this. Do what I did on the other eye. So I just applied some glue to my falsies. I'm waiting for it to get tacky. But then I forgot to mention earlier that one color that I would say is a universal transition shade for most people, my skin tone, will be a color like this. So this is like a burnt orange shade. This one is by Makeup Geek. It's called Morocco. But then you can get this type of color from a lot of brands. You can find this type of color in a lot of palettes. So if you create a look at any point and you're not really sure what type of color to use as a transition shade, this would most likely work. So I went on to apply my lashes on this eye off camera. I have a detailed video on this. I am going to link it in the description box. However, what you don't want to do when it comes to this eye is to just like go in like this and drop the lash and then adjust it to sit like this. So you guys can see the difference. This is ideally how this pair of lashes should sit, this way here. It kind of wings out and kind of gives you that whole like, I don't know, winged out feline look. It's not sitting right here, and it's because it's just not balanced well. It's just standing up. You can see my lashes underneath it. If you're looking at me full on, your lashes, they're not supposed to sit like this, okay? Okay, to finish up with this particular eye, one thing that I like to do is that I like to go in with a small smudge brush, and this one is by Sephora. I'm going to take the same color that I applied on my crease and I'm going to smudge this on my lower lash line. Lastly, I'm going to apply some mascara to my bottom lashes. I'm going to be using the Inglot Lash Enhancer Mascara. You want to make sure that you don't have a lot of mascara on the tip here, because this is basically the area that I'm going to use to apply mascara on my bottom lashes. What you don't want to do is to not be careful at all and just slap mascara, like just comb it across this area like this. It's going to smudge and it's just not a good look at all. So this is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if I should do more of these do's and don'ts. Don't forget to thumbs this video up if you liked it. Subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's Dimma Umeh on both. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.